Okay, Lieutenant Governor, I'm going to start with you. How about that question? That grid that I showed you of all those people, and then there's Donald Trump. Does any of them have a shot in the primaries?
Well, anybody has a shot. Donald Trump didn't have a shot when there were 17 running in the last primary, but he prevailed with a good message and a good team. When almost everyone counted him out as they fell one by one. So there are plenty of naysayers out there, but I think he's the front runner by far, and he'll be very tough to beat.
So, Johanna, as Lieutenant Governor just said, a crowded primary last time actually ended up working to his advantage, right? Because everybody sort of split all of the attention, and he skated along. But this time, what do you see happening in 2024? Do you think the Republicans will be a little bit more, conditioned to what can happen if there's too many people on the stage?
Yeah, it's awesome to be back with both of you. I think the American people, just what they needed was a 2-year presidential primary, right? No, I think the problem is it's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And this is what happened last time, is no one consolidated around anyone, and Donald Trump always had 30%. And so when he has 30% over and over and over, he'll end up winning by a bunch of paper cuts. And so the problem is I don't see any one of those leaders, and even DeSantis, I mean, other Republicans don't necessarily like him. So I don't see them consolidating around one. And if they don't winnow that field and winnow that field fast, then they were going to end up with a Snow White who is very much alive.
But a lot of them didn't like him before, and he still showed all of them. So let me ask you this, Andre. I asked you about the primaries. Let's talk about the general, because he didn't win the general last time round, and his candidates just went down in flames across the country in these midterms. So the primaries are one thing, the general's a whole other thing. Do you feel the same way about Donald Trump as relates to a general election as you do as relates to the midterms or the primaries?
Clearly, every day, in politics, 24 hours is an eternity. 2 years is so far down the road. Who knows where we'll be as a country? Right now, the Democrats have a tough battle to overcome where the economy is. But again, 2 years is a long time. There's a lot that will change, and you're going to have some balance of power now with the Republicans taking over Congress, even with a small majority. And so even they could actually help the current president. That being said, seemed to me last night the former president had the right tone. I think if he can, Lee Atwater said it many years ago when I was a child, you've got to build a big tent. The president or Donald has got to build a bigger tent. We've got to find a way to bring new folks in that will vote for President Trump that didn't vote for him last time. And if he can continue the movement and the speech he gave last night, I thought he did a good job. If he can continue that tone and try to bring in new folks and some of the naysayers that have been against him in the past, he has a very good shot to be the next president of the United States.
Okay, I got about 30 seconds left, Johanna, but you got to answer this. Are the Democrats secretly licking their chops at this point, thinking, bring it on, we want that candidate again, we want to go right up against him just like we did last time? Are they happy about this?
There are a lot of Democrats who want to go against Trump. I mean, we ran against him in the midterms. We've run against him all these previous elections, and we've won. I think that's dangerous thinking. And I think anyone who has proven that he chooses power over the people should not be anywhere near the presidency. So I do hope that Republicans can beat him so that we can have a fair race on the matter of issues and not personality.
It's great to have both of you. You're becoming regulars and favorites. Andre Bauer and Johanna Maska, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.